Our top story at this hour is coming in from Ukraine, where President Volodymyr Zelensky has unveiled concessions in order to reach peace and end the war with Russia. Zelensky said the latest version of a plan to end the Russian invasion would freeze the front line, but still pave the way for Ukrainian withdrawals and the creation of demilitarized zones. The Ukrainian president said that he is ready to pull his troops back from areas of the eastern Donetsk region, still under Kiev's control, and turn the areas into a demilitarized zone as part of a possible peace deal with Moscow. Zelensky, however, added that any plan which involves Ukraine pulling back its troops would need to pass a referendum in the country. The offer, remember, is the closest Zelensky has come to address the thorny territorial dispute in Donetsk that has repeatedly derailed the peace talks. Ukraine also suggested Energodar, a city occupied by Russia that manages the Zaporizhzhia power plant, that could become a demilitarized zone. The plan also sees joint US-Ukrainian-Russian management of the Zaporizhzhia plant that is occupied by Russian troops at the moment. Zelensky said he expects Russia to respond to the peace plan within the next 24 hours. On NATO, he said that it is NATO members' choice whether to have Ukraine or not. In fact, he also stated that Ukraine would hold presidential elections only after an agreement is signed. Russian President Vladimir Putin has been briefed about the potential peace deal, and Moscow is now formulating its position. I was earlier joined by Dr. Umit Nazmi Hazir, political scientist and an expert in Russian politics, who shared his views on Ukrainian president agreeing to pull the troops from eastern Donetsk region that are under Kiev's control. Take a look.
Russia and Ukraine have different positions in terms of the territorial claims of Russia, because Russia is targeting to capture all Donetsk region, but so far Russia has captured 70% of Donetsk, but it is the main target of Russia to capture all Donbas and Donetsk regions. I also would like to remind of that Donbas region includes Donetsk and Lugansk oblasts, and Russia so far captured all Lugansk, but Russia has been unable to capture all Donetsk region because 30% of Donetsk remains under the control of Ukraine, and there is a strong front in Donetsk region, and some military experts claim that Russia can capture the rest of Donetsk region. In case Russia is successful, it will take a couple of years.
Let me also welcome on the broadcast Mr. Volodymyr Omalyan. He's a former Minister of Infrastructure of Ukraine between 2016 and 19, and he's held several positions in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine as well. He then served the Embassy of Ukraine in Vienna as well. Thank you very much for speaking with us on WION. Mr. Omalyan, can I first begin by asking you what you think and how you think Moscow would respond to these concessions that have now been given by President Zelensky?
Thank you for having me. I would say openly that there is no chance that Moscow will accept it. Kremlin lives and obsessed with the idea to restore Russian Empire. It doesn't include Ukraine only. It includes Poland, it includes Baltic states, and further beyond. As long as a Red Army is not destroyed and Russian economy is in collapse. I would be happy to be among those wishful thinking people hoping that the possibility of compromise is high. But unfortunately, we tried all those things in the past. Ukraine was neutral, very pro-Russian. Zelensky, when he was elected, he was pro-Russian guy. So nothing different was in 2019, but the furious war has started in 2022. Actually, it started in 2014, but then invasion happened in 2022. So there is no even a little chance that Moscow will accept it. Yes, Kremlin is afraid of Washington, Kremlin cheats Washington with the idea of some great benefits out of trade. But the philosophy of Russia is to fight, to kill, and to rob. It's not about business.
Okay, Mr. Malyan, when you say compromise, what do you mean? What would constitute a compromise then, if not a demilitarized zone?
I would say that acceptable compromise for us is to start with ceasefire. And this is the easiest thing to do. It's the only command of Putin to Red Army, stop combat actions. We are ready to do the same moment. And then we can talk. But definitely, it's also not in the interest of Kremlin. As I told you, they live with the idea of restoring Russian empire. So it's not about part of Ukraine. It's not about trade with United States or with Europe. It's about military force to capture half Europe again.
And so if it's not in the interest of either Ukraine or Russia, Mr. Malyan, many say that this is then just a formality that President Zelensky has done and said about territory, and he's given in to the American pressure instead of actually providing a concrete solution to the peace deal.
Definitely, American pressure is high. And definitely, Trump is the last leader of Western civilization who wants to conclude some peace with Putin and then to trade with Russia. I don't think that he is naive. I simply believe that in his business logic, there is no war. But reality is that Kremlin spirit and Kremlin main policy is to fight, not to make business or to make some peace. Kremlin believes that by force they can take more than by business deals. And they focus all their resources and also their people to conquer the West. This is the only idea of nowadays Russia.
Okay. All right, we leave it there. Let's wait and watch how Vladimir Putin responds to these concessions. Mr. Volodymyr Zelensky, thanks very much for joining us on WION and sharing your perspective.